that you're having some fun here and at least getting your education business started. So hopefully we got a live feed now. I'll just double check and make sure things are on the go here. Everyone's working and everything's happening properly. I think they are. I had the sound off just for a little minute. Let's see, we got some sound here. Just gonna double check. Got some sound, not quite yet. So let me just double check and make sure that our input for the sound is in fact the right one. So what have I got for sounds? Make sure recording, output, inputs, microphone, Yeti microphone. That seems to be working. That's set up in the right place. So do we have some sound? Let's find out. Yep, there we go. Good, we're all good. Perfect. Now I just muted that. Okay, just wanted to make sure that was the case, that we had things going there. So again, what are we covering today? We're going to be doing my pickleball project. Again, if you have questions, make sure that you just ask them. I'll do my best to help you out. And I'll give you a recap basically of where we're at right now, just so that you're on board with things. Last week, what I did is I actually created a site, mypickleballfriends.com. It's going to be a community site similar to something like a Facebook or along those lines, where people who are interested in pickleball, are a member of a club, are playing or learning to play, are great players. They just want to reach out, connect with some other people all over the world, as pickleball is the fastest growing sport in North America. And I think one of the stats that I saw today actually was that there has been a 600% increase in the requests or need for pickleball courts. So we've even seen some of the pickleball courts that used to be tennis clubs are actually converting over to pickleball, not only because more people are playing, but I think because it can get more actual courts on it. Instead of a tennis court, it can get multiple pickleball playing areas on the same location. So that's what's happening as well on that side. So here's the pickleball thing, and I'm just going to be upfront at the start here. One of the things that I've been not struggling with, but I've been thinking about is, in the past when I built out these training sites, the one thing that I always focused on was the desktop, right? When you come from sort of a business or old school marketer like I am, it's like your focus is on the desktop, right? And I'm just thinking about all of the people that I have targeted for this project, and I'm just wondering, where are they going to be consuming this content? Where is someone in a position to either network, talk to other people who are playing pickleball, find out where a court is, find out where events are, learn something new about how to play pickleball? Are they going to be on their desktop, or are they going to be on the court playing? And the part that, I wrestle with is I'm creating a site. I created a site that works great on the desktop, on a tablet. If it's on a phone, the site will work well. However, people are not going to have a desktop or necessarily a tablet with them when they're out playing, when they may want to talk to people. They may want to film what it is they're doing. They're interacting with other people. Maybe they're looking for courts. Maybe they're connecting with each other, exchanging some details. They're going to be on their phone. So one of the things that I didn't talk about and I'll introduce today is I've set this up so that we're going to have a live app that is identical and all of the exact same content, live synchronous contact. Anything that is on the website version is going to be available on your smartphone on a native smartphone app. So if you're on an Apple device, an iPad, you're on an Android device, doesn't matter. You're going to be able to download a free app, and we've started to implement that now. Should be finished by the end of the week, where the builds are available. But you'll be able to go to the App Store, Play Store, wherever you are, whatever app you have, you're going to be able to go download it for free, and you're going to have also get automatically registered for the site. But more importantly, anything that you do on your app phone, anything that you do, in the app on your smartphone, automatically gets updated on the desktop site. Anything that anyone does on the desktop site automatically gets updated, and it's connected to connected to the app. So just gonna have a sip of coffee here. This is a direct connection. It's a native app. Sometimes you'll see, if you do have a desktop version, it's still available On a phone, it's just a web page that's showing, not an actual application. And we're actually going to have a real application that is live there. So, sorry, I got a little tickle in my throat here. So, where are we at with this thing? The other thing I just want to tell you, just while we're doing this, is that I have been playing around with Ecamm Live, which is our live webcasting tool specific to the Mac. And I do not know how to use it the way I want to yet, but we're getting better. And you'll see as we switch back to some of the different tools back and forth, if there are glitches or hiccups, please bear with me as I'm learning how to do things with it. And we'll get better each and every time, but right now there still are some issues. So just going to check and see if there's any comments or anything. No, nothing's happening there, so that's fine. We'll get to where we're going with the site. Now, a couple things here. We got the site. I created it last week, so you may have seen it in the past, may have seen it before. We've got the site here, but what actually happens when people go to see it at this particular point? Well, to be honest with you, not too much. This is the actual site, mypickleballfriends.com, and I'll switch over to the browser here so that we can see that. And let's do this one. There we go. So this is the actual browser that you're going to see right now. And this is basically the login screen. So if anyone goes to the site and they need to register or want to register, they're going to come into this site. They're going to be able to see My Pickleball Friends and the news feed. But if they want to sign up, they're going to see that previous screen. I've set this up, not configured it. We're going to spend some time configuring it today. There's a couple things I wanted to show you, get your opinion on it, or just think about if it's appropriate to use. But we've got a live site here. We've got the logo. You can see Pickleball Friends. The dashboard is here and available right now. Standard stuff. If you want to see how this was done, you can watch last week. We actually did the whole live setup of this. We've got some test information. Everything is in there. But I think, you know, the thing that I wanted to kind of focus on today, if there are no questions, if there are, please go ahead and ask. What I want to do is kind of look at some of the different nuances of what's going to happen when it is running as an app. And the thing that you know, I've learned from the community perspective, and the part that you know, you still struggle with as a site owner, as a community owner, is that the content or the place where people add content isn't necessarily where you think it is if you're running it to sell courses. Now, we're still going to sell courses. We're still going to make courses available, but most of the people that are interacting on an app are not interacting by taking courses. Most of the people that are using an app are consuming video, or they're communicating with other people. So I initially have set up here on the desktop courses, discussion forums, social groups, and activities. What I think is going to happen is that on the mobile device is the actual focus is going to be on the activity feed. And what do I mean by that? Call it a news feed, activity feed. If we go take a look at Facebook, it's just a running string or running commentary of either people updating as to what they're doing or what they're not doing, or seeing what other people are doing and reaching out, friending them, or communicating with them. So in this case, I've got the activity feed. This is going to be the main screen on the application. And right now I've got it set up where people can make it public, whether or not they want to have it public, all members, connections, or only me. So I'm going to make it public, and I can go and add, add as much text as I want here, along with images. Now, the thing that's interesting, and I have to think through here, and I'm not quite sure what we're going to do yet, is that if I allow videos, that takes up a huge amount of space. And a huge amount of space on a community site, just think about it. If you have a video, let's say someone's taking, there's a wild volley or some really cool serves, or there's a great match on, and you film the video, or you film that match, that pickleball match at your local club, or you're trying to share it with someone, you may end up with a huge file that you want to upload from your phone to the app. Now, for me as a site owner, I got to figure out, okay, if I have 28 people as members, that's one thing, adding a video or two a day. If you have 280, adding a video a day, or 2,800, or 5,000, or 10,000, you can see what happens with the ability to upload videos. You're going to have huge infrastructure costs because you have some place to put these videos that can be played back, right? Now, if someone puts a link to a YouTube video, that's completely different because for me as a site owner, I don't have to worry about the infrastructure or my hosting account and a place to store them because it's stored at YouTube. But in this, an app or the desktop version, if I make the ability to upload video for users available, I have to think long-term and say, well, where does that all fit in? So right now, I just have attached photo here. And what this allows me to do from the desktop and also from the app is if I'm on the app, I'm just going to go and take a look at my photos on my app. I can pick whatever photo or photos and actually upload them. And in this case, I can drag and drop here. So what I'll do is we'll just open up Finder here and see if we have one that we can put in here. Here's a screenshot. I don't know what this one is, but we'll just drag it in and see what happens. And I got a screenshot there. So I'm going to post. If I want to put an emoji or something in, I can certainly do that as well. And I'm just going to post it. Now, I can put one or multiple images in, but I've now got an image that's here and available. Now, here's something interesting that happens. This is just a heads up. On some of the sites and some of the hosts, you may upload something successfully, but it doesn't show up. Here's something that you need to check on in terms of settings when you're playing around with these kind of medias. So I'm just going to go to the dashboard and I'm going to go to Buddy Boss, which is our theme tool. And I think it's on settings, but we'll just take a look on that one right now. Again, if there's any questions, make sure to ask. Media. So I'm in the settings menu and I just selected media here. And at the bottom, there's one that says media security and performance. Enable symbolic links. If you're having trouble displaying, disable this option. And this one says it doesn't work on your server. Stop doing it. So I'm going to click that and save it. And now when we come back to the site, you're going to see that if I go back and take a view back at the site with me as the user, you're going to see that my images show up properly. Okay, so there's an example of adding some images, and I can certainly do that. And I think this is what's going to happen for most users. They're in a position where they're going, hey, I've got my phone, I'm out playing a game, I'm playing with some friends, someone else I may want to play a game or a match against. Who is it? Let's share connections, you know, maybe chat online, that kind of thing. So this is a place where it's going to be community specific for pickleball players and pickleball fans. But the thing is, from me as a community owner, I want to make sure that it's easy for people to do what they're going to do naturally. And I think it's going to be do the news feeds. That's kind of the big thing I think that's going to happen up front. So it's created here. The one thing I haven't done is I haven't enabled videos. And that's why I talked about videos take up a lot of space. You got to think about, is this something that I want to do, or make sure that I make available for people who are doing that. Okay. Again, any comments, anyone online, just give me a shout and I'll do my best to answer any questions that you have and go from there. So what else do we have here? No other chats, nothing else going in on there. So what else do you want to see? I'll show you where the actual videos are for that right now. And again, this is the question that you have for mobile apps. What are you going to do with it? Let's take a look, and I'm going to go back to the dashboard, back to the Buddy Boss settings. So I'm going to go to the settings and then media. And if I choose media here, this is where you can see the choices here. I have my photos, groups, messages, forums. I'm going to turn that on, and I can set the limit in the size for photo uploads in megabytes. So right now, for example, I'm going to standard on this server, the way I've got it set up is 256. I'm going to say 128 megabytes, and that means you can put in 10 pictures at a time of a total 128 megabytes. So that's what we'll do it to start. We've got documents here. Here's the one that's interesting. Now, let me just make sure I save that before I forget. Remember I was talking about having videos available? This is where the setting is to allow people to add videos. And this one is allow members to upload videos in profiles and activity posts. So if I want people to be able to add them to their activity posts, I'm going to select that. We'll see what happens in a second. Groups, private messages, forum discussions and replies, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. We're going to make it 8 megabytes. So these are just short clips of people that I'm going to set for now. And let's do 12. And we'll do one at a time. That's all we're going to do. Okay, so that one's done. We got those there. And I'm just going to save settings. So now I'm going to be in a position where if we go back and take a look at My Pickleball Friends and I go back to the site, the activity feeds, what am I allowing people to do? You'll now see that I have the ability to attach a video to the feed. So I can add a video or drag and drop. This does not allow me at this point to, on the desktop app, be allowed to actually film and have it show up in the activity feed. You film it on your regular phone or whatever, or your desktop, and then you're going to select that video and include it in. But that'll allow you right now on this site, as an example, I've got it set up so that people can go and upload videos as well in the feed. And I think that's where people are going to end up using it. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there, if that's something that people are interested in or end up doing as they're playing their games and matches, showing off their experiences, good, bad, and ugly. So that's where I think things are going to focus on. That's where I'm going to focus on when we get going on the site here. The other thing that I think is going to be interesting as well is, remember, this on an application, as we get going, I think you're going to see a number of groups. And groups, again, they'll be available on the phone and also on the desktop site here. The groups are ones, there's some test groups here, but we're going to have groups, and I think what's going to happen there, I'm going to allow people to create their own groups, just like on Facebook, but I think we're going to have groups for player types and or locations. So I may find that, there's people who are in a particular area who want to group together, share what's going on at certain clubs, maybe do inter-club match play, that kind of thing. They're going to be able to connect with people that are around there. And also levels. So you may find that there's groups who, for example, are a different level of player, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, wherever their experience is. And I also think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be building groups in and around things like health and diet, and keeping healthy while playing, equipment to use. So there's going to be a whole bunch of interesting groups there. Again, all available on the desktop and in the application. And when it comes to earning money with a community, this is one of the things that I think we're going to be able to leverage. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. But if I, for example, want to make creating a group, I can make that as a paid level. So initially I won't, but if we get a lot of groups, I may say, hey, if you want to have a group that is specific for your brand or your club, what have you, I may ask people to put a paywall in front of it and say, hey, you're going to have to go and pay monthly or pay yearly or one-time subscription or one-time payment to be able to create your group. It gives them a chance to connect with other people and network with all of the members, but it also gives them me the opportunity to generate some revenue from it. So that'll be interesting to see if it in fact happens, and whether or not people or that gets to the point where I can do that. That will be probably kind of interesting. So what else we got here? Anyone else coming on? I'm just going to see if we have any questions or anything else. Anyone watching? Who knows if there's anyone watching? No, not too many people today, and that's fine. So we'll continue to build out with the Pickleball Project. Some of the other questions I get about this and the Pickleball Project and creating the apps, that kind of thing. is that is it hard to actually create an app for your Buddy Boss site or for your campus or your community? And the answer is yes and no. One of the things that I really like Buddy Boss for is they have, it's a paid monthly service for them to help you actually publish and create the builds of your app. But the thing that's nice is if I am using this site and I have the app installed on my phone in one hand, and I also have the desktop open like I do right now, and I put in that little news feed here, what's on your mind, and I added this picture. The very second that I do that, it shows up on my phone. So think of this as a synchronous, all connected, all-in-one system that is native to the phone and the desktop. It gives me the ability to have a real clean interface on the phone, because it is a separate interface on the phone. It's not trying to get the web page from my desktop to fit properly on a phone. I actually get to control the look and feel, the menu options that show up on the phone specifically the way that I want them. And there's lots of differences on the phone, right? If you think about it, if you have an Android device, there's usually a certain number of menu choices at the bottom, or icons that show up at the bottom of an Android app. On the other hand, there's a different number that shows up on an Apple device or an iOS, an iPhone, that show up at the bottom. So you've got a different number of icons available in both builds. So how do you set it up? Which ones do you choose for each? This is all built into the Buddy Boss platform. And what's happening on the background here, I'll just take you into the background to see what's happening on the app side, is that we're starting to build this in. I've installed the Buddy Boss app program, and we've got a whole bunch of submenus here, components, and I'll open this up just so that you see, app pages. So these are ones that are displayed only on the app, but not on your desktop. So I'm going to be able to have that. That's standard. Push notifications. So this is a great one, right? So send automated and manual push notifications directly to the app. So for example, if you want to have someone who has subscribed to a group and you want to have it set up so that anytime a group gets updated in the app or on the desktop, you can have this set up by notifying, by activating it. It says, hey, if someone is subscribed to a group, something happens in that group, send them a text message on their mobile device so that they know that something's happened, and a link back. Here's the other great thing, members to purchase products in your app through the App Store or Google Play Store. So here's another way to monetize a site that we'll be working on. Again, these are things, for example, like if we add a course, we can use Apple or the Play Store, Google Play Store, to actually have or take payments in the app to give them access to the site. So those are two that are not available right now. Some of the other options here, settings, I'll just go through these briefly so that you can see some of them. Registering a new app from within a new account within the app. This is kind of neat because one of the big troubles for desktops that kind of gets removed for apps, right? If you go to a desktop site and you're not registered, you have to go through a process of finding the site, adding your email address, adding your details, hopefully getting a confirmation email back and forth. If you are registering as a new user in the app actually runs a registration process that's attached to your phone. So by default, the email address, the contact details, the stuff that you've already got in your phone is automatically used for the registration. So cool thing is, of course, they create and download the app on your smartphone. It creates a user account for them. That user account is also and automatically sent so that it is the same account on the desktop. So even though they're registered on the phone, they're going to have the same account, same login credentials, everything on the desktop as well. So that's kind of a neat thing that's available to us. And again, it's all there. One of the things, again, restrict app access to only logged in members. We're going to keep that one available right now. just as we're playing around with things. But this is one, it's like, hey, you don't get to see any content unless you're a logged in user. So that one's open right now, but we'll probably turn that one down as we get going. Again, website blocked authentication. We're not going to turn that one on. Save changes, but you can see there's some all sorts of additional pieces here. Again, blog posts, kind of an interesting one, because if we're doing blog posts on the desktop, those blog posts also show up with the same content within the app, not as a web page, or pardon me, a URL that's in a browser on your phone. They actually show up as a post within the app, which is kind of neat. Integrations, we got some additional ones here. Fonts, LearnDash, and Vimeo. These are the LearnDash courses that we've already got installed. Branding, this is where we're going to put some of the stuff with our icons as an example. Setting up the home screen, all the different pieces, login screens, register screens. So this is the part that we're building out right now. We'll just change and adjust those as we get going. Colors, typography. Again, we get to customize our own app and it gets built here for us. Menus, here's the cool one. This is the one I was talking about. We can actually set menus. For example, let's look at the iPhone right now, loading the preview. Icon labels, show labels next to. So what we can do is I'm just going to go courses, groups, members, activity. Let's add that to the menu. And you can see at the bottom here, we've now got our 4 icons with the text and links to the courses, groups, members, and activity. And in fact, I can even go and put that at the top, move them around, and it will actually do, let's change that one actually, courses below. I'm going to save it. You can see we've now got our menu on the bottom here. And the exact same thing works for Android too, right? So if I've got Android, I've got the same ones that are available to me. If I want to add another group, let me just do one here. Let's do 4 menus, right? So 4, that one has 4. If I go to the iPhone and I try and add another one, that one only has 4 or more. So I was mistaken on that earlier one, so we'll worry about that one a little bit later. What else we got? App pages, WordPress pages. We can put those additional ones in as well. Shopping carts. But you can start to see that we've got an actual whole tool here set up where we're creating an interface to our particular site, which is kind of neat. So, you know, this is something we're adding on My Pickleball Project, My Pickleball Friends. You can do the exact same thing for your courses and your campus and your learning site. So don't be afraid to at least investigate this, thinking about, hey, where do people actually go and consume the content in your education business? If you're building a community site, you're building a learning campus, think about where are people going to consume it. And also, if they are going to consume it in a certain place or a certain kind of machine or device, think about how do I want to structure the content to support where they are. And I think this is really important. So if you're creating a course and you know that 90% of the people are going to be taking the course on their phone or a tablet, especially a phone though, are you going to want to have a 2,000 or 2,500 word document in a lesson with bullet points and all sorts of images, or are you going to want a 4-minute video that gets to the point? Yeah, exactly. So think about the structure of your course content based on where people are going to consume it or the device they're going to be using, which is really important. A lot of people don't spend time with it, but it's something to consider, especially now that devices, people are consuming even in business. They're consuming on devices isn't necessarily their desktop. And this is especially true when you're looking for certification courses. You know, if you have a certification course, that's something that is often done on the desktop that requires some additional tasks, right? Or some additional steps, quizzes, additional processes that need to be done by the student or the learner. If you're doing something for a community where you're doing a short course, It's generally a mini course or micro course where you're just answering a specific question on how do I do this, or what is the best strategy, or what are the choices I have available. So again, think about the device and the content that you're creating, whether it's a micro course, mini course, or a mastery course is what we call them, or a certifiable course or certification course. So kind of interesting stuff that's going on there. So this is something that we're doing on the Pickleball Project. So we're going to be doing the native app one. It'll be out hopefully by the end of this week. We'll have it set up. It'll be available. It'll probably be Monday or Tuesday before it gets available on iOS and on the actual stores. Got to jump through them hoops and get some approvals there, but that will be done shortly. Be interesting to see what happens. And I'll also keep stats as to what's happening in terms of how quickly it gets adopted and whether or not people are downloading it or not downloading it, people are joining or not joining. And in fact, that's one of the things that we'll have to spend some time on is, you know, we're building this out. I got this stuff that I'm putting together. We got courses, an autoresponder, email marketing, social media marketing, all of this stuff, but are people actually joining the community? So I'm going to be up front. We'll share what's going on and how we're actually marketing it. And that's one of the things that has to come around as well, right? When you're thinking about it, let me actually do, I'm going to play around here with something. Let me just go to my camera. So I'm going to go to, there we go. Let me go and I'm going to go to my video pencil here. And we'll use the video pencil camera. Now, here's something that's kind of interesting. And this is something when I'm playing around with all of these sites that we do. Let me write this down here. So I've got my iPad in front of me. And on this case, what I'm going to do is we'll make sure that we got a video pencil that's playing. And on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down. So I always talk about start, build, and grow. And these are kind of the pieces that we're talking about, or I'm talking about when we're building learning campuses or education businesses or communities. And we kind of did the start, and I've been touching on these, but they've been kind of rolled into each other. The one thing that I've been doing in the background, and I'll spend some time on another time, is the grow part is all about the marketing, right? How are we going to market this actual site, courses, or community? And the thing that we did in the background is over the last day or so, we actually created social media accounts. And the ones that we created are all my pickleball friends. So we have Instagram, we have a Facebook page, we also have Twitter accounts. What else did we have here? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I think the TikTok ones we have as well. And they all are my pickleball friends. So we've got social media that's set up in the background. Of course, we have the mypickleballfriends.com domain. So all of the email that we send out is going to be on mypickleballfriends.com. And you can see actually here on the left-hand side of the screen, let me go back to the desktop for a moment. Let me just go to, yeah, so if I go back on the left-hand side here, you'll see that there's Fluent CRM and the dashboard. So on this one, we've got our email marketing automation is actually all here. Not set up yet, but it's installed. And the important one here, of course, is we've got recurring campaigns and automation funnels. So these are the complex funnels, for example, that are set up. If someone new joins, if someone friends so many people, we can send them email messages based on the actions that they actually take live throughout the site. So this is not only for marketing, but it's for engagement as we're helping people play around with, with the site, but also with the community and getting involved. So this is Fluent CRM, again, one of the tools that we set up last week. This is here, haven't put any of the email sequences, etc. in, but we did set it up so that any emails that are sent by our email automation any of these funnels, landing funnels, onboarding funnels, or onboarding sequences, any of these messages that are automated and not one-off broadcast campaigns, these will all be here coming directly from the site and using the at mypickleballfriends.com. Now, one of the reasons that I did this, which is kind of interesting, if you take a look at some of the tools here, remember that if someone signs up on the application, they download the app on their smartphone, they register on their smartphone, remember what's happening automatically is they're getting created here in the app on the desktop. And if that's the case, they're automatically added, they're automatically added as a contact in our CRM. So not only are they a user in the WordPress site, they're also a contact in our CRM or our tool, our email marketing automation tool. Synchronized, completely synchronized, so we can start doing things like sending them welcome messages by email directly as soon as they register and download the site. And you know, the whole business of onboarding, getting people to be able to use the site, learn how to use the site, again, we can customize that because we've got these tools set up. Now we're using one that's already built directly into WordPress, and we use WordPress as the platform here because it does have a mobile app for what we're doing. That's our own mobile app that we own. So we've got a CRM tool, email marketing automation tool that's actually here live on the site. The other thing we've done is in the background, and I talked about this last week as well, you'll see we also have Fluent support. And what that means is the help desk is also built in as well. Anytime someone has a ticket, they can request a ticket directly here on the site. And in fact, what they can do is they can do it on the desktop and on the app. And it's going to go to our help desk here that's directly in the WordPress site. So any of our staff, any of the people involved in the site, any of the moderators that may be on the app, they're on the desktop. Everything is tightly connected and tightly controlled. So that's kind of what we're working on in the background. And again, if there are any questions, comments, anything like that, let me know. You can put them down in the comment section below if we haven't. And of course, always subscribe if you want to see more stuff when it comes to building out these communities, building out education sites, monetizing what it is that you know, user-generated content, content marketing, all of that great stuff. And this is really exciting stuff, I think anyway, this whole idea of education business, being able to get paid for what you already know and do. Like, have some fun with it. I had someone actually come to the door today, a family friend, and they were saying, like, do you still work all the time? And the answer is, yeah, but I don't consider it work. It's lots of fun. Learning about this stuff is a way to share all of the experiences I have. And the experiences I have happen to be on digital marketing, creating online courses, creating membership sites. And I just like sharing this stuff. So for me, it's not work. And the real beauty of this whole idea of an education business is in many respects, the older you get, the more you have to sell, which is kind of fun. But, you know, there's always so much more to learn and how to deliver it. But the fact is that your experience counts. And if you can share your experience and the experiences that you need to share, answer questions that people still have, you're going to be in a position to say, hey, you want to figure out how to do it? You can figure it out the hard way, or I can help you do that. And it might cost you some money if you want to charge for it. So hopefully that'll get you a little bit excited about membership sites, applications, communities, and again, thinking about how are we going to earn some money on this. So I'm going to end it here. I've been talking for a while, but there's no questions. So we'll go again next week. Again, if you haven't joined our community, teachonline.io, please go and do that. It's there. It's free to get in and play around and ask your questions and share your experiences on starting, building, and growing your education business. So take care. Expect the best. We'll be here again next week. This is James Maduke from teachonline.io and trainingsites.io. And of course now, mypickleballfriends.com.